The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Scheduled programming to bring you a show on the edge. Broadcasting worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to another fabulous hour of the John Lebang Show. Hope you're doing well. Hope the snow's not getting you too badly. We're inundated with it again. At least it hasn't accumulated to where we're suffering on the driving conditions or having to dig out of some kind of major snow blast. But they're talking that more is coming, cold weather. Damn Farmer's Almanac wrong, or at least I think it's wrong, because I believe reading that they said it was going to be a mild winter. Of course, I didn't read deep enough in there. See, that's what happens when you don't look into a subject deep enough. You're not ready, because they might have said we're going to have early snowfall here, and it's going to be cold early on, and then it's going to mellow out, and we'll have an early spring. I don't know. I just remember seeing the headline, and that's why you can't trust headlines. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about some headlines that you can't trust. Others you can trust. We've got some interesting subjects on the docket. One of them is going to be, if you didn't know, there are witches in the United States, and we're going to talk about that a little later on in the broadcast. Somebody is suing British Airways, and we'll tell you why. And, of course, we've got some modern love and relationship news also on the docket. But we begin with you ladies out there. I'd like to get your opinion, because a brand new study came out saying that men with beards are more attractive. Now, this new study shows men who have full beards are more attractive than men who are clean-shaven. The study was published by the Journal of Evolutionary Biology. Researchers asked more than 8,500 women to rate men on their attractiveness as a long-term romantic partner. Now, here's how the facial hair was rated. Though number one was heavy stubble, about 10 days. That's about where I'm at right now. Maybe I'm a little further down than that. I'm growing a beard for different reasons. I'm not trying to attract women. I'm trying to get ready to do some filming, and I need a beard in some of the scenes. Second most attractive is full, complete beard. Does that mean ZZ Top style? I'm not sure. But apparently, women like men with full beards as well. Light stubble, so that's being lazy a couple days, maybe, the 5 o'clock shadow. That's the third best. And then clean shaven, the fourth best. They don't have goatee in there. They don't have mustache in there. They don't have porn stash. They don't have a Fu Manchu. There are so many other designs for facial hair. Even the little caterpillar some of these guys have. I know a guy right now who has one. Abu has a caterpillar. He's not here right now, or we talked to him about it, if it makes him more or less attractive to women. But apparently women in this modern age, contemporary women, prefer men with facial hair. Now the question I'm asking is, why did men start growing facial hair? Well, we may get to that, and we might get to some phone calls to hear what you have to say. According to this study, though, beards may be more attractive to women when considering long-term rather than short-term relationships, as a beard indicates a male's ability to successfully compete socially with other males for resources. How women would relate a beard to responsibility. A lot of times, most of these beards that you see are not very well groomed. So to me, that shows a little bit of hygiene irresponsibility, but maybe that's because they're too busy making money. These guys with beards just grow beards. Even the ugly guys, you've noticed more beards these days. That's why it caught my interest, because I've seen a lot of people wearing beards. Unlike me, who grows it only to do some filming, other people like to grow it, and apparently it's to bring in the chicks. I had no idea. And apparently they like beards. Now in the study, again, they didn't talk about goatees or porn stashes or Fu Manchus or other forms of facial hair, the Tony Stark type hair. So I'm interested in hearing what you women have to say. Are you interested in men, or more interested in men who have beards? And what kind of beard do you prefer? Do you prefer the light stubble? Do you prefer a goatee? Do you like the porn stash? What kind of facial hair do you like? And in the companion story, we have a Modern Love article. The title reads, Cohabitation on the Rise in the U.S. Shows Demographic Trends. This is in Bloomberg. It says, living together is becoming more popular than marriage for young American couples.
Oh, baby.
According to Census Bureau data, 15% of people in the 25 to 34 age group share quarters with an unmarried partner this year, up from 12% in 2008. Among those being 18 to 24, cohabitation is more prevalent today than marriage, with 9% living with an unmarried partner versus 7% living with a spouse. 15 years ago, only 0.1% of people between 18 and 24 years of age and 0.2% between 25 and 34 lived with an unmarried partner. There's probably a couple reasons for that. One, it's probably because their parents weren't married and they had been living with people at an older age, and it's just become a trend in the United States. There are less people who stay married and stay married for the duration of their life. And if you were unfortunate enough to be divorced at an early age and you didn't remarry, but there is a possibility you moved in with someone, maybe you were both soured on marriage, and you moved in with somebody. Well, if you had any children, or if there were any children that came from the prior marriage, or in many cases these days, a single mom who was never married and who's just having to have someone to cohabitate with besides her kids. So the kids grow up with this stuff. They've seen it. We're 10 years down the road since the last study of this. Those kids who were maybe 12, 13, 14, maybe teenagers are now old enough to do these sort of things, and they thought, well, mom was doing it or dad was doing it. That's what we do these days. No one was married or no one stayed married, so it didn't matter. See, the more the family falls apart, the more we're going to have stuff like this where people want to be together, although I think this study might also calculate gay or lesbian couples, and they didn't normally calculate that in the past. So that might also be a small percentage that is increased since then. I can't tell because this article by Bloomberg does not offer any source material for you to link to, so we got to take all this information with a grain of salt. Could be propaganda for all we know. We should also take into account that there's probably people just living together because it is a hell of a lot cheaper to live when you have two incomes coming in and you only have one roof to pay, one set of bills. And although these days people tend to keep a lot of things separate from each other, which has its bonuses and its downfalls, these days you're better off keeping your money to yourself. But traditionally it was better to put it together, combine it so you could grow it as one. But that's probably why we have more debt. Because now everybody can spend without asking their partner, because their partner is really just a partner. It's not a husband or wife because the family's been broken up. What I would like to know is, do men with beards have more wives or do they have more domestic partners? Or at least Bloomberg doesn't give us those statistics. Are those statistics available? Do men with beards have more domestic partners or do they have more wives? Is there a difference? Is the percentage the same? Is it different? We may never know, folks. We've got to take a quick time out. But on the other side of this, we'll talk about high school bannings and witches and so many other things. Coming right at you. Don't go anywhere now.
John will be right back right after this.
Yes, he will. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
Hey, man, can I ask you something?
Who, me?
Yeah, man, I'm talking to you, man.
Okay, what do you want?
Listen, do you want to play some hockey, man? I'm looking for some people to play some hockey, man.
Well, I only played hockey on the video game.
What you mean you only played on a video game, man? This is Detroit, ain't it? We got the Red Wings and all. I know they ain't so good anymore, but hell, man, we used to be a hockey town, man.
Well, I'm not from around here.
Where you from, man?
Oh, I'm from Iraq and Syria.
A crack in Sylvia? Is that girl down by the end of the street, man?
No, that is my home.
What you call it, man?
Iraq and Syria.
Never heard of it, man. You want to play some hockey or what?
Okay, it sounds fun.
All right, man. You know anybody else that want to play hockey, man?
Well, I could go ask my friends.
Well, let's go, man. Let's get some people together and play some hockey, man.
Okay, well, come on, we'll go this way.
All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. So what's your name, man?
Oh, I am Abu.
Oh, well, I'm Gooberfish, man. You got a stick, man?
Yeah, well, I have a broomstick at work.
No, not a broomstick, man. A hockey stick.
Well, I don't think so.
Why are you going to play hockey if you ain't got no hockey stick, man?
Well, I told you, I only played in the game.
How much further we got to walk, man? I'm getting tired.
Oh, we got to go down the street and make a left and then a right, and we'll be there very soon.
Hey, don't you have a car, man? This is America, man. You're supposed to be driving a car.
Well, we only have one vehicle right now.
Who's we, by the way, man?
All my friends.
Well, they better be good at hockey or something, man. Get out that trash, dog.
You don't like doggies?
Not the stray ones, man. Those stray dogs, they come up and eating your garbage all the time, man. Then they poop in your front yard.
Oh, that's not very nice.
You telling me, man, when you got some random poop in your front yard, what you supposed to do?
I don't know. Clean it up?
That's the problem, man. You always got to clean up other people's crap.
I have to do that at work all the time.
Hell, I quit that job then.
Well, that's what I'm paid for.
Well, you wouldn't need a job, dude, if everybody cleaned their own stuff up. Did you ever think of that?
Thank you for the information.
No problem, man. That's what I'm here for.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man.
Feel smarter yet? If you're wondering why I'm covering these subjects, I had a request to do some more weird news, some different stuff. A high school that is banning certain type of jackets so the poor kids won't feel bad that they didn't get those cool jackets for Christmas. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. A school says, yeah, it can be tough for anyone to have the added anxiety of struggling to keep up when it comes to cool school clothes, ladies and gentlemen, or accessories, or makeup, or gadgets. So this high school in northwestern England is attempting to level their playing field for disadvantaged students by banning expensive coats and jackets from some Canadian-based companies. Why are they targeting Canada? What did Canada do to them? They make cool jackets for winter because it's cold there. They should be really good at making cool jackets. And because you're importing them, that's going to make them a little more expensive, a little more trendy. And here's this school going, the poor kids can't afford them. The poor kids and their parents can't afford them, so we're banning them from school. You can't bring them into school. Don't bring them into school. We don't want them here. According to the school, these coats cause a lot of inequality between their pupils. That's one of the head teachers told, you know what organization, ladies and gentlemen? They told that to CNN. Inequality because the poor kids can't afford the cool jackets, or their parents can't afford the cool jackets. So the rich kids who go to the same school are banned from having them. You can't show them off. And it's not like they're the really rich kids like the ones that come from royalty. They're just they're a little more wealthier than the other kids. And because we can't have that in the country of Harry Potter, they can't have the cool jackets because they have a little bit more money. What would the Malfoys do?
Now, Draco, play nicely.
Harry Potter would have never got the Nimbus 2000. That would have been banned.
It's not just a broomstick, Harry. It's a Nimbus 2000.
Just think of all the Quidditch losses Gryffindor would have had then. Now, these coats sell for about $1,200, and parents who are poor will just freak out and try to afford these things they can't afford. Not tell their kids, tough cookies, you can't have it. We don't have the money. It's called struggling. People do it. Some people struggle more than others. It's called life. Not everything is provided to you. You don't get everything you want. You can't achieve everything you need to achieve in life. Very few of us do. Very few of us, and you better have a head start to get there. That means parents and generations of family have set the grandkids and the great-grandkids up so that can happen. You can't just do it in one generation. Rarely. But over in the United Kingdom, they have to have inequality standards to where certain kids can't have jackets brought to school. They're banned because the other poor little kid's going to cry. I want one and I can't have it. And then the parents are like, we can't afford to buy you one. But I want one, Mommy.
She can't have one.
Who says I can't?
The man with the funny hat.
I want one. I want a golden goose.
Hopefully I didn't lose any listeners from the United Kingdom. We've got a few stations out there. We don't want to do that. Let's switch away from the United Kingdom for a moment, if we may. Talk about the number of witches in the United States is on the rise. Yeah, it may surpass 1.5 million, ladies and gentlemen, according to a news story on CNS News. A report in the Christian Post contends that the number of witches and Wiccans has dramatically increased since the 1990s to the degree that there may be at least 1.5 million witches in the United States, which is higher than the 1.4 million mainline Presbyterians. So everybody is moving over to Luciferianism and dark magic and all that. Apparently, somebody's going to the American version of Hogwarts, and now they're producing lots of witches throughout the United States.
There! You take a witch's wand!
The practice of witchcraft, according to this report, has grown significantly in recent decades. Those who identify as witches has risen concurrently with the rise of the witch aesthetic. The report by the Christian Post in October cited data from courts, a Trinity College study, and a Pew Research Center study. Between 1990 and 2008, the number of Wiccans in the United States grew from 8,000 to 340,000 people. And they say the devil doesn't run the planet. According to these 3 religious surveys conducted by Trinity College in Connecticut, in addition to the Pew Research study reported in 2014 that 0.4% of the population, or 1 to 1.5 million Americans, identify as Wiccan or pagan. Well, we have the Luciferian Church right here in Detroit. I think, the Satanic Church. Don't want to confuse those two belief systems. One's more humanism, and the other one actually deifies an entity. Now, it makes sense that witchcraft and the occult would rise in a society that becomes increasingly postmodern. That's what the author Julia Roy, formerly of Moody Radio, told the Christian Post. The rejection of Christianity has left a void that people, as inherently spiritual beings, will seek to fill. So, Christianity, who was ruined because paganism was crossbred into Christianity, and what springs from it? A larger form of paganism, Wiccanism. Now, one would say that maybe it was always the plan to destroy Christianity, so that the religion, the ancient mystery religion of Babylon, which is a form of paganism, would rise again on the planet. Destroy all forms of religion except the one they want. Now, she added that witchcraft is especially attractive to millennials because it has been effectively repackaged. No longer is witchcraft and paganism satanic or demonic publicly. Although if you go down to the Satanic Church in Detroit, I think you would see differently. But, don't want to call anybody evil. Don't want to call evil evil. Don't want to call darkness darkness. Don't want to call bad bad. That's insensitive. So on one hand, we've got Christianity being destroyed. You have Islam being attacked. It looks really bad. They look like the worshipers of death. I mean, you don't want to blame everybody for that. I'm just talking the terrorist people. If you say the wrong thing, people will create their own meanings for what you said, and they'll say, you said all Muslims were evil and bad. I'm just talking about the ones that bomb people and kill people and cut people's heads off, rape women, burn people alive. Those people. If they're not doing any of that, if they don't wish hate on other people, if they don't want to convert everybody, then the Jewish people are attacked by everybody else because the Jews are always attacked. And the one religion gaining popularity here in the United States is the paganism, Wiccanism, witches, wizards. It's Hogwarts in America, everybody.
Welcome to Hogwarts.
Just don't be a Death Eater. I guess if you want to be a Death Eater, that's all right. Because nothing's bad anymore. Nothing's bad. Whatever. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, folks.
Now sit your butt down.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
And I promise you'll love it. Yes. I'd like to take a quick second here to tell you about our new sponsor, Quality One Painting. For interior and exterior painting needs, call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. Tom will give you free estimates, senior discounts, and I can tell you from meeting the gentleman, he's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. So for a quality paint job with a professional attitude, call Tom at Quality One Painting. That's 313-982-2986. 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than some Thai stick, man.
Yes, and I bet you're loving it.
Hey, pass that over.
So if my calculations are correct, the temporal reflection began to decay at about 1 minute and 30 seconds into the future.
My data concurs with yours.
That's not a big window.
Phase distortion began at 2 minutes.
And that's when the reflection warp began.
Correct.
We need more time. This is baffling. You got any theories?
The distortion field created by the temporal reflection warp begins to damage organic tissue on a molecular level. Once the threshold of 2 minutes is breached, no viable options exist at the moment. Further analysis is required before making any recommendations.
What if we built a containment pod that could withstand the distortion?
Good idea.
Oh, thank you, iDork. Calculate variables and design a prototype. Then cross-reference the schematics with our available resource supply.
Acknowledge.
How long before rendering?
Estimated time 32 minutes, 12 seconds.
Oh, great, that's plenty of time. I've got to use the little boy's room. I'll be back before you're done.
Thanks for the information.
Looks like we're back in hardware mode.
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You heard, because I know you heard, because it was all over social media over the last week and a half. You heard the potential super Earth found nearby after decades-long search. Yeah, it's a National Geographic story that I found on MSN. I didn't really need to find it because everybody was sharing it. I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on Facebook. And people were, oh, here's a potential Earth. And they read the headlines and then they move on. That's it. Just 6 light years away. Well, that's not nearby. That's a long freaking ways away. It's not our neighbor. You can't go, hey, neighbor, how you doing? You got Earthlings over there. Can you breathe over there? You can't even see this thing. 6 light years away. But hey, a frozen world seems to be orbiting a small, dim red star. If it's truly there. Oh, there you go. People got the headlines, shared the information without realizing that the whole story is over in the first 2 lines, if it's even there. It's a made-up news story manufactured by the mainstream media because they have no proof it's there. It's 6 light years away. 6 light years away. And they're claiming it's a potential Earth. They can't prove it's there. Can't prove it's there at all. Remember, I think this is the same planet we talked about a few years back. And here in the first 2 lines, the truth is told. They don't know it's there. It shouldn't even be a news story. But it is. It's one of those manufactured news stories because maybe it was a slow day. And they go, hey, we got anything we can print this week? We got anything we can post on the web? And the guy over at National Geographic says, well, we could talk about that planet that might not exist. Is it an alien planet? Yep, it's a frozen alien planet. But it might not exist. We don't know if it exists, but the scientists are speculating it's there. Oh, yeah, let's run with that. Let's run with that news. Give it a big headline, though. How about this, boss? Potential super Earth found nearby after decades-long hunt. Oh, that's great. That's great. Just make sure to tell them we don't know if it's really there. No problem, boss. No problem. Supposedly, this alien planet that they can't prove is there, would at least partially fulfill a fantasy decades in the making. And it could become one of the most promising targets for astronauts keen on getting to know how many worlds beyond our solar system. I mean, this is a long ways away, too, because we've got to study all the planets in our solar system still. And we're just scratching the surface publicly on Mars. And that's some 50 years after we went to the moon. Okay, so we're at least a couple hundred years away from attempting that. 100 years maybe from attempting that. I guess that's worthy of news, I guess. In 100 years, we might be able to go to this planet after we've looked at all the planets in our solar system. And that planet they don't call a planet anymore. It's called Pluto, named after a Mickey Mouse character. Now, the newfound candidate planet, according to these, that they can't find the planet, but they expect it to be there. It orbits what's known as Barnard's star, the closest single star to our sun. The bright Alpha Centauri system, which is 2 light years closer and hosts a planet of its own, is actually made up of 3 stars. By contrast, Barnard's star is the small red dwarf that's older than the sun and about 1/6 its size, and it's invisible without a decent telescope. The close star wasn't even discovered until 1916. Still, though, Barnard's star has long been buttoned into the lore of science fiction, the presence of orbiting worlds as far back as the 1960s, and prompting fiction writers to weave tales of adventure around the hidden pinprick of light. According to some Spain institute that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, people have been looking for planets there forever. And now they found one that they can't find. But hey, maybe it'll spark more science fiction for everybody to read. And if you're not interested in flying to the stars far beyond 6 light years away, then maybe you don't want to fly on British Airways either. A man is suing British Airways for being seated next to an obese passenger and claims he was injured, he was squished, he was crushed by the big man. The big obese person. That's one of the reasons I don't fly. One, I'm not the skinniest guy anymore, so I take up a little bit more room. But everybody takes up a little bit more room, and these airlines do not accommodate for that. No, they try to squish you in like sardines. They've actually made things smaller, yet people have gotten bigger. Way to go there, because they want those profits. Got to keep those profits up. Got to make that money. Got to make that money. Because $1 billion worth of profit is just $1 billion now, because we need more than $1 billion. Everybody needs more. It doesn't matter. If you have this yacht, you need that bigger yacht because the neighbor down the street has a bigger yacht than yours, and you just got to beat him. So a man is suing British Airways because he got injured because he was sitting next to a large person. All right, let's see what else we can go over. Yeah, we should probably talk about the upcoming schedule for the John LeBang Show. Next week, you're going to get a special treat, and that's Derek Schomerstein is going to join me, and we're going to talk about the top frontmen of all time as voted on by you, the listener. Now, you can go and participate in the voting for the top frontmen of all time to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/The John LeBang Show. We have all the posts posted there. You can also go to our website, www.jlebang.com, and it has a link that'll take you right to the event page, and you can track all the polls yourself. Now, we're moving on through the different rounds, and man, we're getting to the nitty-gritty. So definitely get in, because one person, at least one lucky person, is going to win some kind of prize. Derek said he might pitch in something. I'm going to pitch in something. We don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we're getting right down to the end, and we want you to participate to have a shot at winning that. And again, you can go to the website, www.jlebang.com, to get information there. On the upcoming schedule beyond that, we fall into our normal Christmas schedule here. Now, in the week of December 2nd, you're going to hear The Invaders from Alien X, Part 1 and 2, first and second hour of the show. It's our very first sci-fi adventure. We hope you tune in for that. The week after, you're going to hear In the first hour, Bangerverse Volume 7, Donald and the Twittering Ding Dongs. And in the second hour, you're going to hear Captain Rainbow Civil War. Now, on the following week, December 16th, you're going to hear Virtual Infinity Part 1 and 2. Then during the Christmas holiday, you're going to hear not only the brand new Christmas mini special, you'll have A Very Shady Christmas in the first hour. Then following that will be Shady's Christmas Story. You don't want to miss it. You'll be in the Christmas spirit and you'll want to tune in. Then we're moving into New Year's Eve weekend, and you're going to get Destiny Wars Part 1 and 2. Coming into the new year, you're going to get the brand new Bangerverse Volume 8. We haven't decided the title of Volume 8, but it's a brand new hour of the Banger universe and all the characters you've grown to love. Outside of that, we only have one other scheduling note. It's a little one. We're very close to announcing the date of the Banger Music Awards. Most likely it's going to be somewhere towards the beginning of February. We're going to be releasing the date on episode 40 of the Banger Music Hour, which you're going to get next week. That's going to be a brand new episode for all of you. We're going to also announce all the bands that are nominated by yours truly to the Banger Music Awards. And now it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you tune into that. The Banger Music Awards drew in hundreds of new people across all the many stations that carry the Banger Music Hour. And we look to improve on that. So with that being said, we've gone through the schedule. Please go to the website, www.jlebang.com, to keep up with all the latest details on what's coming up that week, what stations are playing us, what stations are preempting us because they're doing a radiothon. You'll be able to go to the website and get that. You might be able to get new videos on one of our many YouTube channels. Don't forget to subscribe to those. Don't forget to go to our Twitter page at John Lebang and follow us there. With that being said, we're going to head out to the phone lines because I know you want to talk about everything that is going on in the news, everything we talked about. We're going to kick it off with Peppa in Chicago. What do you want to talk about, Peppa?
Oh, honeys, I want to talk about a couple things you've been talking about tonight.
Okay, what's the first thing?
First, I want to talk about living with your baby daddies. You know, you can only do that for so long, and then the deadbeat ain't working, so then you got to find yourself a new baby daddies. And if you lucky and he goes to prison, you get more on your bridge card.
Okay, and what's the other thing you wanted to talk about?
Ain't no gangster wearing them beards. I like them shaved so I can tell them apart.
Okay, thanks for your call, Peppa. Our next call going out to Washington and Donald. What say you?
John, I got my own airplane, John. But I want to talk about the witch, John. And beards are for ugly people, John. Hide your face, John, because they're ugly, like Rosie O'Donnell ugly.
Okay, sir, thanks for your call. Well, so far nobody likes beards. Interesting. Our next call, out to Canada. Wilfred, what say you?
I drink beer all the time.
No, we're talking about beards.
Like watch hockey.
No, sir, we're talking about beards. Facial hair, sir.
Oh, like the playoff beards. Go Montreal.
Okay, sir, thanks for your call. Listening in on Radio Love, Pedro, what say you?
Hey, man, I love chicks, man.
Okay. Are you calling in about a specific topic?
No, man, I just got in the country, man. And I heard you on the radio, man. Hey, man, I need some new shoes.
Some what?
New shoes, man.
Shoes? Are you hungry?
No, man, I need new shoes. Because they're all worn out, man. Been walking for like weeks, man.
You've been walking for weeks.
Yeah, man, I just jumped the border, man.
You just jumped the border.
Yeah, man, it was easy. But I ruined my shoes, man. I need new shoes.
Well, maybe you can go to the Salvation Army.
No, man, they're all gone, man.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Go ahead, man.
You said you crossed the border. Did you see any troops on the border?
No, I'm looking for shoes, man.
You're looking for the troops?
Yeah, man, I need the new shoes, man.
New troops? What do you mean new troops?
New shoes, man. I need the new shoes. It's all worn out, man.
So are you confirming you saw troops on the border?
No, man, no new shoes, man. I need new shoes.
Well, I guess that confirms it, ladies and gentlemen. There are no troops on the border. Thanks for your call. Our next call coming in from Shady in Detroit. What say you, sir?
Hey, John, I want to talk about the beard thing.
Okay, Shady, well, the floor is yours.
The reason chicks like beards is it makes a man look manlier, and it hides all his ugliness. So when you can't see his ugliness, then she can focus on the important stuff.
And that being what, Shady?
Well, on the money, John, and having food in the kitchen.
Can't they focus on the money if the husband doesn't have a beard?
Not if they're ugly, John. Women's always looking to upgrade, John. And if they all got a beard, then they all look the same.
So you're saying because I'm growing a beard, I'm going to be more attractive?
No. What I'm saying is, 'cause you got a beard, people look past your face then. That is, unless you leave a little lunch in it, then it's really gross.
So what are you saying here, Shady?
I'm saying the reason so many guys are wearing beards right now is because they're ugly. And the reason women like guys with beards is because they don't like seeing ugly. And even though they're trying to make it cool, John, a guy wearing makeup ain't the most masculine thing.
Are you saying it's like makeup for guys?
Damn straight, John. A beard is makeup for ugly guys. Just like makeup is makeup for ugly women. You don't see the pretty women wearing too much makeup. It's always the ugly chick putting all the makeup on their face, making themselves look pretty.
You might have something there, Shady.
Where, on my shirt? Oh, I was eating some popcorn.
I meant you made sense.
Oh, well, I always make sense, John. What else do you want me to tell you?
I don't know.
Can I say something about them bitches?
Who are you referring to?
You know, them bitches you were talking about. I can tell you why there are more bitches in the country than ever before, John.
What are you saying?
Earlier you were talking about there were more bitches in the world. I can tell you why.
No, we were talking about witches.
Witches, bitches, it's all the same to me, John. It's a simple answer if you let me finish.
Well, they're not the same thing, Shady, so I don't think your analogy is going to work.
I hope a bitch gives you the witch's curse.
All right, Shady, thanks for your call. Our next call going out to Ditzy in Washington.
Hi, John. I just want to talk about guys and beards.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Hate to agree with the old man just before me. I don't like all that hair, John. I prefer shaved. That way you don't get hair in your throat.
Okay, Ditzy, thanks for your call. Let's head back out to Canada. Gordy, you're up next.
We make the best jackets, eh? 'Cause it's cold here, eh?
Okay, Gordy, thanks for your call. Our next call going out to Colorado.
I have to admit, I like them clean shaven myself. You never know what could be crawling around in all that hair. In fact, I prefer them bald. But you know what's worse?
Oh, what's that?
Oh, you know the ones that wear the wigs and they wear the makeup. I mean, get a life. It didn't look good on Michelle Obama or RuPaul.
Okay, thanks for your call. We're headed back out to Detroit. Leroy, you're next.
I grew a beard 'cause it made me look older.
Leroy, you grew a beard 'cause you're ugly. Now get off the phone.
Oh, I gotta go. Bye.
Okay, thanks for your call. Out to D.C. Wilbert, you're our next caller.
I've had a beard since I was 7 years old. The best part about having a beard is that just when I'm hungry, I can just go in there and pick out some leftovers.
Okay, thanks for your call. All right, with that, I think it's time for a break.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this. That's guaranteed. Yes.
Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning for a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's a hell of a good time, isn't it?
And with this being our last segment before the Thanksgiving holiday, I want to wish each and every one of you out there a very happy Thanksgiving. I also want to thank all of our affiliate stations, Bubba Army Radio, Alien X Radio, 102.7 WSNR, Tampa Bay FM, Good Talk Radio, Rogue Rock Radio, the Indie Radio Network, IRN Radio in Tampa, Rat Pack Radio, Radio Love, Radio Vegas Rocks, Get Smashed Radio, Naja Radio, 24.7 The Stream, and all the other stations affiliated with the John Lebang Show. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. We'll see you all next week. And keeping with tradition, our next little bit here is a segment called Shady and the Real Story of Thanksgiving.
Hey, man, you're listening to the John Lebang Show, man. That's good. That means you ain't stupid. What you doing, Uncle Shady?
Preparing to cook a turkey, Leroy.
What for, Uncle Shady?
Well, for Thanksgiving, Leroy.
Oh, we're gonna have turkey this year, Uncle Shady?
Damn right.
But where's the turkey, Uncle Shady?
Well, the hillbilly is out there looking for one.
Oh, you mean he's shopping for one, Uncle Shady?
No, Leroy, he's hunting for it. We're gonna be eating good this Thanksgiving.
What do you mean, Uncle Shady?
Well, we're gonna have fresh turkey, Leroy. Not like those frozen ones you get in the grocery store.
You mean he's gonna kill it, Uncle Shady?
What do you think? It's gonna climb in the oven by itself?
Well, no, Uncle Shady.
Then why do you ask stupid questions?
I don't think I could do that.
What do you mean? You always ask stupid questions.
No, I mean killing a turkey, Uncle Shady.
Well, have you ever tried to cook a live one before?
Well, no, I haven't, Uncle Shady. What does that have to do with anything?
My God, Leroy, sometimes I don't think you're family.
What do you mean, Uncle Shady?
Listen here, Leroy. If the turkey is not dead when you put it in the oven, there's gonna be a lot of screaming and flopping around. And let's not even talk about the burnt feather smell.
Ooh.
And where are you supposed to stick the stuffing at? Don't say it, Leroy. Don't say it.
Say what, Uncle Shady?
Just forget it, Leroy. You're giving me stomach cramps. Now give me a beer out of the fridge.
Okay, Uncle Shady. Has anyone seen my helmet for my aluminum suit?
What's an aluminum suit?
Oh, well, I tried to build an iron suit to protect me. But we don't have the money, so I had to use the cheapest metal I could find.
I don't think aluminum's metal.
Well, it's better than nothing. Anyways, have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it.
What does it look like?
Oh, it goes over my head.
Well, maybe you should check the toilet.
Oh, that's a good idea. It protects me from alien gamma rays.
Are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
Well, you're sounding kind of crazy.
Oh, what are you about to start cooking?
Well, nothing yet. But as soon as the hillbilly gets back, it's gonna be a turkey with all the trimmings.
Oh, that sounds tasty.
Oh, did anyone say turkey? I did. What's it to you?
Oh, I love turkey. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Oh, God. Will you settle down? We're gonna be eating some soon, once the hillbilly gets back.
What is the occasion?
It's Thanksgiving, you idiot.
Thanksgiving? What is that?
What is that? How long you been in the country?
Well, that depends.
What do you mean depends? Depends on what?
Well, if you mean legally or illegally.
Oh, God. Thanksgiving's a holiday, you idiot.
Oh, I love holidays. Is it like Christmas?
Well, that depends.
What? Depends on what?
How many relatives you have over.
Ain't that the truth? And why do you celebrate this Thanksgiving? Oh, it's a tradition. Yes, but where does it come from? Oh, I heard it had something to do with us killing Native Americans. Oh, that is terrible.
Where did you hear that, Leroy?
Oh, somewhere on the internet, Uncle Shady.
Figures. How many times do I have to tell you, Leroy, not to believe stupid people?
Well, then what is it about?
Listen here. Everybody gather around the table. I'll tell you the true story of Thanksgiving.
Okay, Uncle Shady. Oh, this sounds fun. Yes, I love stories.
All right, let me open my beer. Once upon a time, there were these people called the Pilgrims. And this is the story of the Pilgrims. And it goes way back, long time ago, before America was America. Now, the Church of England, under King James I, he was a jerk, was persecuting anyone and everyone who did not recognize his absolute authority. And those who challenged his authority, and those who believed strongly in the freedom of speech and the freedom of worship, were hunted down, imprisoned, and sometimes they were beheaded.
Oh, that sounds like my brothers from Iraq and Syria.
Listen here, are you telling this story?
Oh, no.
Okay then, shut up. Now, where was I? All right. Oh, yeah, I remember. A group of separatists first fled to Holland to establish a community. And after about 11 years or so, they got bored, and about 40 of them agreed to make a perilous journey to the New World. And one of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers, Grady Shady, was there.
Oh, you were named after him, Uncle Shady?
Well, Leroy, it's a family name. Now, can I continue?
I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
Now, as the story goes, they would certainly face some hardships, but at least the promise was they could live and worship according to the way they wanted without some higher power named the Church of England or some king telling them what to do. So on August 1st, 1620, or around thereabouts, the Mayflower set sail. It carried a total of 102 passengers, including my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, plus 40 pilgrims, led by William Bradford. He was the best friend of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Hey, William, you think we brought enough teepee for the trip?
Let's hope so.
Now, on the journey, Bradford set up an agreement with everybody. It was a contract that established just and equal laws for all members of the community.
My fellow pilgrims, everyone is entitled to religious freedom and may worship as much as you desire.
Hey, Billy, does that include toilet visits? Now, the journey to the New World was long and arduous.
What does that word mean?
It means it was hard. Now, shut up. Oh. And when the pilgrims landed in New England in November, they found, according to my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's journal, a cold, barren, and desolate wilderness, and there were no friends to greet them. Now what do we do?
Well, we must go ashore. Prepare a landing party.
Are you kidding me? It's freezing out there. I say we pick up anchor and go to the Bahamas. This guy Columbus went down there and he said it was beautiful.
Forget it. Meet me in rowboat 4.
You know, I'm sick. I'm gonna stay behind. Now, during the first winter, half of the pilgrims, including Bradford's own wife, died. Hey, Bill, I've got some bad news and some good news for you.
Well, give me the bad news first.
Well, while you were sure looking at a piece of real estate, 4 more people died.
Damn. And what's the good news?
One of them was your wife.
Oh, God!
Now, when spring finally came, the Indians...
Don't you mean Native Americans, Uncle Shady?
I don't get into these new terms. We called them Indians when I went to school. That's what I'm going to call them now. Now, can I continue?
Yes, go ahead, Uncle Shady.
These Native Americans, happy now, taught the settlers how to plant corn, fish for cod, and skin beavers for coats.
You mean they used to skin beavers?
Well, the women back then didn't have much hygiene, Leroy.
I'm not following you, Uncle Shady.
What do you think a beaver is? Some kind of animal? Now, can I please continue?
Okay, Uncle Shady.
Now, life improved for the pilgrims, but they did not prosper yet. And this is very important that you understand this. This is where everybody leaves off. They just stop right here. That's it. That's why there's Thanksgiving.
You mean that's not the end, Uncle Shady?
Hell no, it's not. Will you let me finish, please?
I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
Now, you have to understand that these pilgrims had merchant sponsors. They didn't have money of their own. They were from the ghetto. And to make this trip themselves, they had to take out a loan. These days, they're called bankers. Back then, they were called sponsors. Now, these merchants that were in Holland and in London, they paid for it all, but they wanted their money back. Now, the contract that they had called for everything to be produced to go into a single common store, and each member of the community was entitled to one common share. All of the land they cleared and the houses they built belonged to the community. That meant you had no privacy. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Yes, yes, yes.
Grady, what are you doing?
Oh,
what the...
None of these buildings belonged to any individual, and everything they produced was distributed equally. I need some more teepee.
I'm sorry, Grady. You get 2 sheets, and that's all.
That meant everyone would get the same, and everybody would be the same.
Oh, sounds like a commune.
Damn right.
Well, that sounds fair, Uncle Shady.
Now, don't get ahead of the story. You see, Bradford, who became the new governor of the colony, recognized that this form of collectivism was as costly as the first harsh winter after they settled there. Listen here, Billy. That single chick living with the guy from Africa haven't shown up for work in a week, and now they used all the teepee. Something's gotta be done about this.
Well, what should I do?
Don't give the lazy people anything. So Bradford decided he'd take bold action. He assigned a plot of land to each family to work and manage. Whatever they produced was theirs to do with as they wish. They could sell it, use it, but it was theirs.
Welcome to La Boost Shaved Beavers. Hey, man. I just harvested a crop of bomb weed, man. I'd like to trade it for a shaved beaver, man. I am so sorry, sir. Today we only have porcupines.
Now the Pilgrims had discovered and experimented with what could only be described as socialism, and it failed miserably. And what they found was the most industrious and creative people had no incentive to work any harder than anyone else, because no matter what they produced, they got the same as everybody else. And if somebody didn't produce anything, they still got as much as the guy who was producing it all. So William Bradford and the Pilgrims found that people could not be expected to do their best without a little incentive. So what Bradford and the community did next, they unleashed the power of good old free enterprise. They let every family have their own plot of land to work, and they were permitted to market the products and the crops that they grew. So, Bill, what do you think of my plan now?
This has had very good success, for it made all our hands industrious, so as much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been.
See, I told you. Next time, listen to me. Now, as a result of this, the Pilgrims found that they had more food than they could ever eat themselves. So they set up trading posts and exchanged goods with the Indians.
Uncle Shady, they're called Native Americans, remember?
Listen here, Leroy. Stop interrupting me. I'm almost done.
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
So now these profits that they made allowed them to pay off their debts to their sponsors. Thus, the success and prosperity of the Plymouth settlement attracted more people and began what came to be known as the Great Puritan Migration.
What's that, Uncle Shady?
We'll save that for another day, Leroy. So in other words, the Pilgrims had such overwhelming success at growing their community that the word spread all the way back to England and other parts of the world, and it began this ginormous migration of people. And because of that, they thanked God for the guidance that they found for resurrecting their community and shared their bounty with the Indians. Even though they taught them how to do it, William Bradford and that community made it better, and they were thankful. Now that's the real story of Thanksgiving. Don't let anybody tell you different.
I never heard it told that way before.
That was a very good story. Are you sure those facts are right, Uncle Shady?
If you're gonna question me, I'm never gonna tell you another story again. Now hand me a beer before the hillbilly gets here.
Okay, Uncle Shady.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good tie stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too. Don't forget to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John Lebang signing off from the Banger Studios.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance